Alright, here is your guys' long-awaited München gay travel review video. Or probably not long-awaited at all. Maybe you guys couldn't care less if I do one on München. And I'm actually going to do a München and Stuttgart combined travel review video. Just because I'm kind of bored of doing the ones in Germany. And München and Stuttgart are not that far apart. And neither one of them is really known for being a big-time gay party place anyway. To where I think they need their own separate video. But I kind of like, I basically just did all the different corners and where the major cities are. Like, I did Hamburg, Berlin. Hamburg took care of like the north. Berlin took care of like the northeast. Dresden or north. No, not. Dresden's like the Middle East, I guess. München would maybe be the southeast, Stuttgart the southwest, and then Köln would take care of like just the west, northwest area. As I said to you guys before, the two main gay, well-known party cities in Germany are Köln and München. Not Köln and München. Köln and Berlin. So, mostly Köln. Like, Köln has a surprisingly big, like, gay like party scene and clubs and stuff like that. Even more so I feel like than München. München has like a very specific scene. I feel like it's a little more bourgeois, or maybe also a little more into like the fetishes. Where München I think is more of the what you consider the normal. I keep saying München, Köln. I got München on the brain. Yeah, Köln has more of the circuit party feel if you ever get to go there. Anyway, so München. München, gay travel destination? Not really. I think a lot of people who come to Germany do go to München though, because like Oktoberfest is like such a big deal for foreigners. Personally, I don't really understand that, but then again, that's because I don't drink or smoke, or I'm into the whole party thing. So, also, I would say right from the start that München is more conservative than a lot of other parts of Germany. So I don't think you're going to have people be as comfortable with PDA and stuff like that than you would maybe like Köln or Stuttgart or something like that. And I don't think, actually considering it's one of the major cities in Germany, I don't think it actually has that big of a gay scene. I was in München for Oktoberfest this year, or not for Oktoberfest, but I was there when Oktoberfest was going on. And actually I'm really disappointed that I was going to initially do the München review video with one of my subscribers who's living in München right now, but then he was camera shy and he was like, no, I don't want to do it. So now I have to do it by myself. And he kind of showed me around. Him and I went to a bar together. And it's called Prosecco. So that's the only place I can review. No, we went to another place. We actually went to another bar. But I don't remember that one, and that one sucked anyway. But it's a little further down the street from the gay district. And I cannot think of the name of the gay district right now, so I will put it in the notes. It's like Gastroviertel? Gasviertel? Glanzviertel, I don't know, something with G and then Viertel. And that's where most of the gay bars are. And it's a really small, it's literally just like maybe like a block, and then like this little corner park, little thingy right there. But we did go into the Prosecco, which was a bar, and that was kind of cute. It was kind of set up like an old German fashion. You could tell it wasn't like the hip place to be, so it was more of a low-key crowd, so that was kind of fun. It was really weird because we sat at this table, me and who's now my friend who I met over YouTube. We sat at this table, and then this older couple sat across from us, and then they all of a sudden started talking to us about Jesus and Jesus' love, and I was just like, why are you in a gay bar? And they were like, well, we're gay, but we love Jesus, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, like you definitely have the clubs. There's actually quite a few gay saunas and sex houses in München, though. I don't know if there's something that goes hand in hand with being, like, conservative and then having to be freaky dinky in other ways. I don't know. But yeah, and like I said, there's a mini gay district. Again, like, it's a little more conservative, so I would not say it's a great place for PDA. You can, of course, get away with it. I mean, it's a major city. It's not like you're going to get attacked. And it's very safe. But in terms of things to do, I don't think it's that amazing. So I would say, like, my gay rating, I'd give it, like, maybe like a 3 for things to do. PDA, I'll give it a 4 because you can get away with it, but it's not like in other parts of, like, Germany or Europe where it's just not a big deal at all. You'll probably get a couple of weird looks. And what do I usually have? What's my other thing I rate? Oh, safety. And safety, you're fine. You're like you can get. I'll give it a 5. In terms of Stuttgart, Stuttgart's where I live right now. My family is from a small town that's near Stuttgart. Maybe like, well, oh shit, my thing's falling apart. Maybe like 20, 30 minutes away from here. So in Stuttgart, I've been out a couple of times. I would say the main happening place used to always be the King's Club. It's really tiny. It gets really packed. So it's almost too packed where you could even do anything that's even fun anymore. There's a couple of other places that I don't know the name, but like you guys can just look it up if you want. But it's like, but is Stuttgart a gay travel destination? No. Is Stuttgart a travel destination, period? No. Stuttgart's completely freaking lame when it comes to stuff like that. Like, there's nothing touristy to see here. It's not a very pretty city at all. München's much prettier, although I would say it's not on top of my list of pretty cities in Germany. It's got a couple of nice parts, but overall it didn't blow me away. But Stuttgart's like not pretty at all. Like, it's not a pretty city whatsoever. But it is, I feel like, more open-minded than München. I feel like you can get away with more. Also, just based on the size of both München and Stuttgart, especially Stuttgart, there's not a big community. So it's not, I would say, if you would think of like coming here and living here, it's not the place to really go crazy and party because you'd be really quick to get a reputation. It's not like in a place like New York where you can fuck 20,000 people and nobody, and then the next person will probably not know who you are, have never heard about you, Like here, the community's small enough to where eventually you'll get to know everybody. There is no gay district in Stuttgart. I would say unofficially it would be Olga-Eck. But again, that's just my feeling. I feel like a lot of times a lot of gay people hang out there. There's a lot of like cafes and bars that aren't necessarily gay, but a lot of gay people like go to. In terms of safety, I think Stuttgart's maybe a little bit less safe than München. But still, I'm still going to give it a 5. I mean, like, I can't really think of any really unsafe cities in Germany. PDA, 5. Like, you'll probably get some looks here too, but it's not that big of a deal. And things to do, I'm going to give it a 3 as well. But the one thing I do want to say that's very redeeming, and I don't know if they have this at Oktoberfest, but in Stuttgart we have something that's basically, it's not even basically, it is the exact same thing as Oktoberfest, but we call it Wasen. And it's the exact same thing. Like, I've been to both Oktoberfest and Wasen, and I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, stand for stand, tent for tent, it's exactly the same thing. I don't know why Oktoberfest is so famous and nobody outside of Stuttgart knows about Wasen. I mean, it really is the exact same thing. And what they do for Wasen, so I'm assuming they probably do this for Oktoberfest too, which is really cute, is they have like a gay beer night tent. So you can go there and it's like all in German, and like they all dress up in like the old German style costumes, which if you're German I think is kind of cute. If you're not German I think it's a little bit weird, but that's just my opinion. And they also do that for in the springtime. We have Wasen twice. We have it once in the spring and we have it once in the fall. Although in the springtime I think it's... Surprise, my camera died. Really quick, I looked up the gay part of München is called Glockenbachviertel. I knew it was something with G in Viertel, so I looked that up now. I was talking about how in Stuttgart we have a thing called Wasen, and in the springtime I think we call it Frühlingsfest, but it's basically again Wasen. And then they have like a gay night there or a gay day, and you know, there's like a gay beer tent and all this kind of stuff. And that's one thing that they do a lot here in Stuttgart, because there isn't really a gay scene, there's not really cool gay clubs or whatever. They have a lot of like events. They'll have like the gay Wasen thing, or they'll have like flyers going out that there's like a specific, it's almost like maybe like a circuit party, but it's not like a circuit party. I don't know how to explain, but there's like events that go on every once in a while, because with Stuttgart is such a small city. I think it's only like 500,000 people. So a lot of people on the weekends, they're not going to drive all the way into Stuttgart to go to a lame club, but they'll have like events, and people from like all over around will come in, and then they'll do parties like that. So that's kind of like, that's something you can do. There is also like they do have organizations here. They have a gay sports team thing for all different kinds of sports. I went to the volleyball one, but I only went like 3 times because personally I thought they were really unfriendly. Maybe it's just because I've been away from Germany for a really long time, and especially the Germans from the part of Germany where I'm from, we have a reputation of being really unfriendly and kind of standoffish. And they were, and I kind of was like, well, screw this, I'm not coming back to that. But it is available too, if that's something you would be interested in. And there's a lot of cities around, like, there's actually Karlsruhe and Mannheim, which are maybe around the same size as Stuttgart. Stuttgart's the capital of this state. But Mannheim and Karlsruhe, even though they're the same size population-wise, and I would say maybe 45 minutes, an hour from Stuttgart away, actually have more of a gay scene than Stuttgart does. Also, Frankfurt is pretty close. I probably could have done a review on that because that's a fairly major city. But Frankfurt's not that known for gay things to do. Yeah. But I mean, like, so basically my whole thing is, if you're really just coming to Germany for gay travel, I would say you can probably skip everything outside of Köln and Berlin. I mean, all the other cities are not going to give you anything interesting or that you really have to experience. Unless, you guys can research. I probably could have researched it and then told you guys for sure. If the Oktoberfest, if you really want to see Oktoberfest, even though I recommend going to Wasen because it's less people and it's the exactly same thing and it's the same experience. If you go to Oktoberfest for the gay night, I'm sure that would probably be a fun thing because you're in the beer tent and it's just that really typical German oompa loompa, even though that's not a German song at all. Na 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 na. How's that song? Na 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 na. Oh, whatever. So yeah. So overall, Stuttgart. So, but I didn't really quickly want to say the one thing about Stuttgart, because I kind of just talked shit about it, and it's not pretty, and it's not necessarily a gay place to go, so now everybody's like, well, why the hell would you want to live there? And the thing is, like, I would never recommend Stuttgart as a place to visit if you're a tourist. Now, however, this is going to sound really weird, I think Stuttgart is a really, really great place if you do want to live in Europe, and especially in Germany. Personally, I don't want to, because I have a really hard time with the weather. The weather in Germany is just horrible, pretty much always. And I'm also really, really disappointed by German politics right now. And considering how open-minded Germans always try to seem with sexuality and nudeness, it's like one of the only countries in Europe now, or in Western Europe, that still hasn't passed gay marriage. And I just find that really, I'm really ashamed of that as a German myself. Like, I feel like Germany should have been a forerunner for that. And like over Spain, like Spain and Portugal are known to be so religious countries, and then Germany is so behind on that. And I think it's an embarrassment to the Germans. To us. But Stuttgart is a really cool place to live in because if you look at a map of Europe, it is literally dead smack in the middle of Europe. So even though Stuttgart isn't so cool, you can get anywhere else in Europe within like 5-6 hours. I mean, within 3 hours by train, you can get to Zurich, you can get to Paris, you can get to Köln, you probably get to Wien, you can get to München, you can get, there's a lot of places you can get just with train within 3 hours. And if you don't want to take the train, we have an international airport, and you can fly, you know, to Rome and London and Lisbon and all those places within like 2 or 3 hours, you know, so you can pretty much, like that, for that I think Stuttgart is really awesome. The other thing that's really awesome, if you would consider, if you are looking for a place you'd want to live in Europe, Stuttgart's really good, is that because it's not a tourist attraction place, it's real Europe, and it's real Germany. Like, if you really want to experience a real Europe and a real Germany, you're more likely to get that in a city like Stuttgart than you would in München or Berlin or Paris, that attracts millions of tourists and people from that country, so it's a little more integrated. And because it's the size it is, it's big enough to where, you know, you have the outlet for different types of cuisines, and, you know, like different kinds of bars, and, you know, we have like mountains around, there's hiking, and there's nice parks, and then basically it's big enough to where you'll find any kind of thing you're interested in doing. It'll be expensive. It's a very expensive place to live. But the outlet is there, and at the same time it's small enough to where, you know, you'll be somewhere and you'll run into people you know, and you can kind of build a friendship circle, and, you know, it still has a little bit of a charm to it in that way. So for living, I think for living in Europe, Stuttgart is not a bad thought to have. Yeah. Is there anything else? I'm going to again put little videos in the end that show it everything. I'm going to put München first and then Stuttgart, and you guys can have a little bit of an overview. I don't know if am I forgetting anything? Well, if I forgot anything, I'm going to put it in the notes. This is it for German travel guide videos. I did all the different corners. I also put like what cities are nearby. Like I said, Germany is such a small country, or like all the European countries are so small, it's not worth it to do a review on every city. I mean, obviously, if you go to Augsburg, or if you go to Erfurt, or you go to Wiesbaden, or any of those other places, you know, you're gonna find maybe like a bar or a club or something. But it's you know, because it's a place where people really go as a travel destination. Probably not, but, you know, it's there, it's available if you need it. So that's it. Hope you guys are doing okay, and yeah, bye.
Pero porque eran más cerca, pero ahora tienes 18 y tú tienes 20.